with Aaron, Avery Woebots.
What up?
Part of the Army of Snipers crew.
Yeah.
How many people in the crew?
A little over 25. So, you know, I always had Army of Snipers as a kind of like a label, you know, like our whole concept, well, the concept of a sniper is basically someone that sits far away and aims for his target with a partner, you know. So the whole concept is, you know, it's not at all meaningful about having a gun or shooting a gun, whatever. Basically, because we're all from different sides of the parts of the earth, you know, from the planet, we basically take aim at different destinations and we hit our targets by joining together, you know? So yeah, I mean, it's been cool, man, meeting all these cats and just be like, yo, let's make this collective. And it's, you know, it's not like, it's more than, I can honestly say it's more than like an online social network. It's a live physical network amongst homies, you know. So everyone has the same passion and drive, so why not put them together and connect and build together, you know? Hop around the planet and paint walls or do shows, share some art.
What's next for you after Miami? You have a new show or new work coming out?
Actually, yeah. After Basel, I go home for 2 days, and I'm going to Asia to do humanitarian work.
Okay.
So on the Thai-Burmese border, all these Burmese refugees hop over to Thailand because of the dictatorship that's happening in Burma.
Yeah.
So all these kids and their families like hop over to Thailand and they basically fend for themselves. About maybe 5 or 6 of us are hopping over, and for 2 weeks we're gonna do art with the kids, build with the kids, just, you know, show them a good time with art. And then we're gonna take all that art and then do a traveling show, and whatever money we make, we give it back to the kids. So we're gonna be doing that for 2 weeks. And then we're gonna hop around Asia. So hopefully we go to Singapore. I locked down a show in Hong Kong and Philippines.
That's awesome.
For a month and a half, we'll be just hopping around and hopefully smashing more walls. You know, what's crazy is there's at least 4 people here that are graphic designers or people that paint small. You know, this is the first time for a few of our members to hit walls. You know, so it's kind of cool.
Has Luke ever done anything like this before?
Actually, you guys are witnessing Luke for the first time on a mural, like a wall like this. So.
Wow. Okay. Were you approached by Aaron originally to come out here and do this?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. I've known Aaron for years now, since he moved to Los Angeles and started showing around there. And you know, being that we both do kind of anthropomorphized characters, specifically bears. You know, we have that, like, we paint bears. Awesome.
That's a cool thing to have in common. Yeah. So I was just talking with Aaron, and he said that this is the first time you've ever put something like on. Well, not the first time, but this is a different experience for you, going from canvas to this. What's it like for you doing that?
You know, obviously there was, when I think of graffiti, you know, there's obviously a lot of different, you know, factors that come into mind. For instance, say brush versus aerosol, brands of aerosol, you know, caps, you know, and stuff like that. And so, obviously, you know, this being the first time I've ever tried anything on this kind of scale, on this kind of medium, there was a lot of complications. And I definitely think that the work that I did was, you know, I would say amateurish, but it was, you know, definitely a fun, you know, experience. And something that I was just actually talking to one of my colleagues, RYU, or just you, and saying, you know, I don't know whether or not, you know, painting on walls is necessarily my thing. But of course, then I suddenly realized that, you know, it being my first experience, I shouldn't dismiss it as, you know, something that, you know, like, oh, it didn't go off perfectly the first time, I better, like, you know, never do this again. You know, I should, I shouldn't be discouraged. And maybe, you know, like, with the experience, like, you know, maybe try, like, different things, and, you know, eventually maybe I'll, like, you know, try and find ways of being able to do things, you know, on a more public scale. I think that, like, you know, mural art is definitely a very valid and communicative art form, and, you know, I think that any artist who is, you know, working in the field of art should try anything and everything that's out there. You know, to shut your off and say, oh, I don't do this and don't do that. You know, simply cuts off any, you know, possibility of growing. And I would definitely say that this was a growing experience for me as well.
So I was a graphic designer for about 12 years. I have my own firm, and then moved into business intelligence. Because as a graphic designer, you can there's a cap. You either keep on doing your stuff, and then you run your own firm, or you sort of branch out. You have to learn other stuff, branding, strategy, things like that. So that's what I did for a while. But then it got so monotonous because you're always within the confines of doing design for other people.
Other people, not for yourself.
Exactly, and so with everything moving towards digital art, you sort of lose the sensibility because everything's digital. If the zombie apocalypse came, none of my work would exist in a decade and a half of work at all.
That's true.
So I always had like a ball of clay. I'm primarily a sculptor, so I always had a ball of clay and would just mess with it if I was on a conference call, whatever. And after a decade and a half, I went back into practical art just because it felt better, like sort of express yourself as you want to. Aaron Woebots is the guy. He's the leader of the Snipers crew. So he traveled so much, painting all over the world. He would meet like different artists that were sort of like-minded in the sense that it wasn't necessarily their skill set. It was the mentality of always doing your own thing. You have your own hustle and grind, and then because we knew the life, we call it paint life, art life, you sort of have to move forward and do what you want to do regardless of, if you have necessary, you have responsibilities, but it's that thing that keeps you up all night, doing all-nighters and things like that. Because we've got people from all over, like Bushers from Switzerland, we've got Pixel from Italy, we've got They and BB from Malaysia, Sherio from Singapore, and it's all because Aaron initially just traveled so much that he met all these people. Exactly. It's like we joke around and call it like super friends, like the Justice League, So, and everyone's got their own core competency. So if, like today when I was painting this tree, like Pixel came up, it's like, don't be afraid to use white. Because he paints large, like huge. He's used to painting like 4-story buildings. And then he's like, remember, people are not going to look at your piece 2 feet away. They're going to look at it, 80 feet away, 100 feet away. So when you do a highlight, make it exaggerated. It might look like shit up close, but back far it looks fantastic. Exactly. So those types of tips are invaluable because you can go to school as much as you want, but you're not going to get these little per project types of pieces of advice that you can leverage for future projects.
We're with LEZA. France. What part of France are you from?
Oh, I'm from Switzerland actually, from the French part of Switzerland, Geneva.
Geneva, okay. What do you find different about working on walls versus being on canvas? Like, what do you take from each experience in each?
Oh, I think the biggest difference is maybe when you paint a canvas, actually more often you're like alone. It's intimate, yeah. It's like with yourself, and you're really in your own world. In the street, it's different. You have to deal with weather, you have to deal with people, you have to deal with everything, So it's really kind of different. And the spaces is a canvas, like it's big, but it's not big as a wall. It's really different way to